everyone, my name is Prism, and welcome back to the Media Spotlight for another movie review. Now, it's not this often that I'm going to do 3 reviews on 3 new movies, but hey, November had quite a few films that I wanted to see, so this should be the last of them. But anyways, guys, today I went and saw 2025's Wicked Part 2, retitled to Wicked for Good. And, ironically, it was very good. So today, I want to do a quick spoiler-free review talking about the movie, things I liked, things I didn't like, not getting into spoilers, but just kind of going over general stuff, and my honest thoughts on the film. If you want to know my quick thoughts, it was good, not as good as the original, but by no means was it bad. Let's dive into it a little bit deeper. So, I want to say this really quick before I get into my review, that I've not seen the original Wicked Broadway show, and I've not read the original book that it is based on. All my knowledge of Wicked comes from The Wizard of Oz, and from what friends have told me, and the films themselves. So, if I say something feels like a negative, like pacing, that kind of thing, that's probably because I did not see the original stage play, and so maybe things did take a little bit, or did take the same amount of time. Basically, I'm just trying to say that don't take my review as a definitive Wicked guide. Take it as someone who hasn't originally seen Wicked, the Broadway, but saw the movies and comes from a film critic perspective. That said, Wicked for Good is great. It's a really good movie. I would say the very worst, it's very good. That's the worst I would put it. I don't think it exceeds the levels of the first film. And I think part of that is because Wicked Part 1 was such a phenomenon. I don't really think anyone could have expected how great that movie was going to be. But it was such a fun experience. I would call it almost like going to a party at the movies. It was such a fun experience. You had all these big show-stopping songs. You had all these beautiful visuals. You had all this stuff going on. It was such a happy experience. It had dark moments too, but Wicked Part 1 does definitely feel like the lighter film. In a sense, I'm a little bit surprised this film also got a PG rating, because there are definitely some kind of dark moments in it, but that said, I don't think it's bad for being a darker film. I actually like it when it tries to be a bit more dark and a bit more mellow tone, and there were some moments where I actually really liked the direction they were going in, or even if I didn't like it, I thought it was really interesting. But how would I honestly put Wicked for Good without getting into spoilers? I think it's got everything that the original has. A great story, beautiful visuals, great music, great technical work from the stunt coordinators to the visual effects artists, great actors and musical performances, but it struggles in pacing. And I know that part of that is, well, you know, you haven't seen the original stage play, and you have to adapt things differently to a film. But when the first film almost clocks in at 3 hours and part 2 barely gets there, it does make you wonder a little bit, did they cut a little bit too much? Could they have done things a little bit longer? You know, there's some moments in the film that happen, and they're really fascinating, they're really interesting, but then it feels like, oh, we have to be done with it to move on to the next plot point. At the same time, there also feels like moments where they're saying, this is really important, and it goes on for way too long, and you just want to get to the next thing. There's specifically one sequence that I'm not going to mention that felt like that, where, actually a couple sequences that felt like that, where I just felt like there was either too little or too much time taken. But overall, I think Wicked for Good is a pretty good film. I would definitely say that if you liked Wicked Part 1, you will enjoy this. I don't think you're going to come out hating this film. And this definitely is a worthy sequel. It has everything great from the original, except pacing in some regards. I think Wicked for Good could be paced a little bit better, but that does not mean I think it's a terrible film. I just think it could have been a little bit stronger had they extended a few sequences or maybe trimmed a few things. Look, I loved Wicked for Good. I had a great time in the movie theater. I just don't think it's as great as the original, and I think part of that's just because it's the second, and it's not that first experience. But I also do think that maybe this film takes a little bit too long or too little time to get to important moments or from important moments. That's my honest review. At the end of the day, I just kind of think the film's paced a bit weirdly, But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the darker tone. I like that it had maturity to it, and there are a lot of decisions that I really like in this. But that is going to be it for my review of 2025's Wicked for Good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great Thanksgiving, and goodbye for now.